former directors, members of the Research Council, Dr. Goyal and others, my dear colleagues from CSIR and GRI, all joined through the online media. Namaskar and very good afternoon to all of you. My greetings to everyone on the National Technology Day. We are very much aware that National Technology Day is celebrated on May 11th every year to honor the contributions of India's scientific community, including scientists, researchers, and engineers. With multiple technological advancements accomplished on the same day, the Indian government declared May 11th as National Technology Day. It is a great fortune for us that Dr. V.K. Saraswat, one of the earlier architects of the missiles program in India, is with us today, though virtually. The theme of 2022 is Integrated Approach in Science and Technology for Sustainable Future. We at CSIR and GRI are working in our own way of implementing integrated geophysical technologies for water, geological hazards, and energy resources that are critical for sustainable future of planet Earth and humanity. Sir, you have visited us about 5 years back and advised us in our plan of action. Today, on this Technology Day, I am very pleased to inform you that our colleagues could achieve the consultative mechanism. We could almost double our outcome in all the spheres in a quantitative way, whether it is publication, impact factors of publications, publications in journals like Science, and externally funded projects, particularly aligned to the national programs of the Government of India, our contribution to the society and strategic areas, including providing inputs for structure of Sri Ram Temple in a very short time of 3 weeks during the COVID period. Colleagues, we have now another occasion to get inspirations from the beaming presence of Dr. Saraswat to inspire us and take a further leap forward in our technological interventions and scientific growth. Dear colleagues, Dr. Saraswat is very well known and very distinguished scientist with a vast experience in the defense research in both basic and applied sciences spanning several decades. During his illustrious career, he is credited with indigenously developing the missiles such as Prithvi, Dhanush, Prahar, and Agni. And as I mentioned, that Technology Day also happened to be one of the day when the missiles were fired. 2 tiered basaltic missiles, defense system, initial operational clearance of light combat aircraft Tejas, nuclear submarines, INS, Arihant, several more. With this distinction, Dr. Saraswat is a forerunner in the development of the number of the critical missile technologies that were under denial due to the missile technology control regime, and thus making India self-reliant in missile technologies. The slogan what the Government of India now had made for self-reliance in the other spheres of science and technologies. With his distinction and contribution, he had been honored with several awards and fellowships, including fellowships from the National Academy of Engineers, awards from DRDO, and most importantly, highest civilian uh, recognitions by Government of India, conferring him Padma Shri in 1998 and Padma Bhushan in 2013. There is a long list of his achievements. I would cut short due to the paucity of the time given to us, but still I would like to make few of the other contributions which Dr. Saraswat has made through the continued guidance to the scientific.
तिवारी जी, इतना introduction बहुत है. Thank you very much. The introduction बहुत है.
One more line, sir. Sir, as a member of the Niti Aayog, even CSIR has been so much benefited when he had guided us, taking us towards the methanol economy, and lot of the programs, particularly from coal to syngas and to the methanol, are launched in the country towards the energy security. With these brief words, sir, we would like to put our gratitude for your kind presence to be with us and agreeing to deliver this year's Technology Day. It would have been really more fortune for us had you been with us in physical mode, but nevertheless, still all our colleagues, I'm sure, will be very much benefited with your kind guidance and inspiration. Thank you very much, sir, and we look forward to listen you.
Thank you, Dr. Tiwari, and my greetings to Dr. Goyal. I am told that he is also on the web, and all the scientists of NGRI, the students, and the researchers who are attending to this Technology Day celebration. At the onset, I would like to congratulate the scientific community for the kind of achievement to this particular day for which the Technology Day is being celebrated. That was because we had the Pokhran explosion of 1998, which led to the formation of the Technology Day, and it is in the recognition of the great work being done, has been done, and will be done by the Indian scientists. So Technology Day has a tremendous impact as far as the scientific community is concerned. That's why my topic today is science, technology, innovation, and education for sustainable development. I thought that would be worthwhile talking to you on the way the technology is shaping or going to shape the future of the planet Earth. And if we do the right things in the right manner, then I think we will keep the future generations happy. But if we don't do, or if we continue to do the business as usual, I'm quite certain that the future generations will not be saying good words for us. So it is important that sustainable development becomes the buzzword as far as our R&D activities are concerned. My visit to NGRI about 5 years back was very educative, and I enjoyed every interaction with the scientists, and we discussed many issues. One of them I still remember was my focus on geothermal energy and identification of areas for geothermal, and I'm very happy to know that NGRI has done significant amount of work in that direction, and that is leading to some projects being done in Leh, Ladakh, and other regions as far as the geothermal energy is concerned, based upon the work which has been done by NGRI. Like that, I think there are many areas where your institution has made tremendous impact. I would like to make congratulations for them, and this day they needs to be appreciated. Coming to the topic of my discussion today, I would like to mention that focus is on sustainable development, how science and technology has actually impacted. All of us know that the growth of science and technology has been phenomenal in the recent past, improving the quality of life of the human beings. Emergence of new technologies has opened up myriad opportunities today, available for us today, and it is left to the imagination and the ingenuity of the human mind to explore and exploit them further. I hope my slides are changing and you can see them. Can somebody confirm?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can see.
Yeah. So with the established base of multiple technologies all over the world, scientific minds have to come together for new innovations. Now, if you look at science and technology in the society, it has two or three things which are very important. One is, what is the scientific perspective? What is the technological perspective? And what is the ecological, economic, and political perspective? Only when we are in a position to combine all three of them, then we can do science and technology for society. And with these three perspectives, if you do the scientists and take action and lead to action, then you will have a society which will have a positive impact as far as SNT is concerned. Science is the principal driver of change. We have seen this happening, and the major things which are happening today, there's a social change which it brings, the environmental change which is in the form of climate, it is the medical or the healthcare change which is now being driven by the biotechnology and the healthcare technologies. Then, of course, the national security, which is the area where I have come from, where the weapons are created of different times. The science has the power to completely transform civilization. For some, science has made life comfortable. All of us are enjoying the fruits of science today in the form of comforts, in terms of luxuries, in terms of the kind of resources we are able to exploit and so on. And there are others, it has meant death and destruction because they have developed weapons of mass destruction and weapons which are actually leading to the death and destruction. Now, for us to appreciate how science and technology has really made an impact, this is a very little complex slide, but it gives you how the society has changed. At the bottom, if you see the change of society from the agrarian society to industry society to information technology, and today in 2010 onwards, we are a knowledge-based society. If you see the early days of 5000 BC, when people were working on bronze statues, that was the origin of civilization. But then the science was playing a major role even in those days. We have the artifacts which are actually giving us an indication of bronze statues, the 885 metals which led to the Panchola statue and so on. And that was the time when we were graduating from Stone Age to Bronze Age and then Iron Age. Then came the Chemical Age, and where you have the 18th century where rockets came at that time, and then came the 18th century where the Industrial Revolution took place, and we graduated from Chemical Age to Plastic Age, and from that, of course, the other. Then what you see today is during the Industrial Revolution, when various scientific innovations took place, we started getting power, we got aircrafts, and we have nuclear energy. We had World War I coming in. At that time, we had World War II happening. And then after the World War II, the emergence in 1940 onwards or 50 onwards was a science in a big form, in the form of computers, lasers, genetic engineering, internet, and what we're seeing as part of the information bio-nano evolution, which is today happening. And now you have information and knowledge age, which is the convergence of technologies between 2000 and 2020, which is actually making a revolution in the HMI through molecular nanotechnologies and emergence of the smart and the intelligent materials system. So starting from Stone Age to the Bronze Age to Iron Age to Chemical Age to Plastic Age, nuclear age and biotechnology, nanotechnology, biotechnology in 21st century, all this has been all because of the scientific innovations and technologies which are developed in various areas. What used to be earlier natural sources and craftsmanship, today it has become synthesis, engineering, combinatorial, situational simulation and strategies based upon science and technology. So that is how the entire society is getting affected. But then, while the comforts have been many, and all of us are enjoying those comforts due to SNT, engineering has also spurred and led the industrial revolution, but in the process, it has created important classes of problems. Human exposure to toxins in the food, air, and water today, rising demand for energy. You know, today, even yesterday, we are talking of so much energy demand has come that we don't have enough coal on our thermal power plants to provide the energy to take care of the energy demand. transport, manufacturing, heating, and cooling. Depletion of non-renewable sources, like again we are seeing the rising cost of the crude oil, the metals, and others, which is happening today. Excessive demand for water for homes, agriculture, and industry. The impact is so visible today that the water tables are going down in every state, and India is going to suffer through what we call as a water war tomorrow. Rising demand for land for housing, food production, and economic activity. Today we need more land than what we have. Ever increasing number and size of landfills. The waste is created at everywhere, and which is creating a health hazard and a climate hazard. Ecosystem damage and habitat loss due to the pollutant discharges, and impact on global climate. And this is a long list, the litany goes on. I have only listed a few which are very important. So what is the answer? The answer for all this is there's a need for sustainable development. And why do you need sustainable development? Because over-exploitation of natural resources. 1 million species on track for extinction. And the decline of more than 60% of the world's marine fisheries. This is what is happening. The climate change, which is increasing atmospheric temperature and extreme weather events. The rising sea levels, which is resulting in the extinction threat to small islands, nations due to the climate change. Then, of course, you have a scarcity of the resources which are happening today. Food production needs to double over the next 40 years at a time when almost 23% of the world's agricultural land has been degraded. And nearly 2/3 of the world's population will be living in water-scarce, water-stressed years by 2025. So the need is there for sustainable development. Now, what is sustainable development? What is sustainability? Utilization and development of natural resources in ways which are compatible with the maintenance of the resource and with the conservation of the environment for future generations. Basically, there are three pillars, all of you know them: environmental pillar, social pillar, and the economic pillar. Unless we have the good coherence, development of all of them at the intersection point, for example, between environment and social, we have socio-environmental growth, which is conservation policies, environmental justice, global stewardship, all that comes in. Then at the intersection of environmental economic comes the energy efficiency, renewable fuels, subsidies and initiatives, green technologies, and so on. Then comes at the intersection of social and economic, the social element to create what is called the business ethics, fair trade, and workers' benefit. So if you look at all of them, unless all the three pillars are satisfied and they pass through the filter of sustainability, any decision as far as the S&T is concerned leading to action is not very positive. And it will be only if it satisfies all these three pillars. So for this, what is new in science and technology for sustainability? The first thing which is important is, which probably we have neglected in our earlier days of developing science, we have to bring together environmental science and development science through research on nature and society interactions. We are concerned for enlarging scientific capacity in developing countries and providing scientific support for local action. Science we have to do, which is integrative, where natural and social science, sectors of human activities, scholars and practitioners all work together. Science that is fundamental, skill, non-linear processes and complexity, the unity of the nature and society. That is what we have to do. Science that is regional and place-based, where people and ecosystems are, where a transition can happen, where integration takes place, where complexity is understandable. That is how the modern science has to shape itself if we have to work for sustainability. For this, there are certain touch points, because I mentioned to you economy, ecology, and society. The touch points, for example, in the case of ecology, are today as a country, we are focusing on digitization in every aspect, biodiversity, alternative mobility concepts which are required, alternative nutritional concepts are needed, alternative urban concepts are needed. That is as far as, but energy, renewable energies are needed, durable products are needed, and so on. Similarly, if you take the touch points for economy, and then there will be efficiency in the businesses, competitiveness in the business, positive user experience should be provided, like we are doing now in retail marketing and so on. Innovative capability has to be enlarged. Quality has to be maintained or improved. Sustainability is one aspect which has to be covered, and customer loyalty has to be done. As far as education is concerned, which directly handles the social part of it, education has to be nurtured in a class so that you actually make people more capable rather than employable. They should become capable. If they become capable, then they will be better employable. Human rights, equal opportunities, ethical use of technologies, and so on. So these are the touch points of sustainability which has to be taken care of. Now, for these touch points, what are the 6 technology transformations for achieving the sustainable development which are taking place today? One of the things which is happening is digital revolution, which is being headed today by artificial intelligence, big data, biotech, nanotech, and autonomous systems. Then we have a transition from the old style of cities to smart cities, where you will have a different kind of smart housing, smart mobility, sustainable infrastructure, and pollution-free society. That is what we are looking at smart cities. Food and biosphere and water, there we have to look for what is called sustainable intensification and biodiversity, forest, increasing afforestation, taking care of your oceans, healthy diets and nutrients so that we reduce the number of people suffering from nutrient deficiencies. Human capacity and demography, which is consisting of good education, health, aging, consumption and production. This is one thing which we have to be very careful about. Resource use should be very judiciously. We should work towards circular economy, which is ensuring that you transit from 3R culture to the 6R culture and pollution free. Decarbonization of energy is very well known to all of you. We have to do. The digital revolution, first thing I want to say is going to make a tremendous difference. The 5 multi-trillion-dollar innovation platforms, as convergence accelerates, innovation advances. And each platform is blockchain, genome sequencing, robotics, energy storage, and AI. Will create multiple trillions in market capitalization over the next decade, enabling further growth as far as the society is concerned. And you can see how artificial intelligence is putting all of them, and through the digitalization, through the cloud, through the IoT, through the robotics, through autonomous vehicles, through energy storage, the entire gamut of things will form as part of this 5 multi-trillion-dollar innovation platform, which is where the digital revolution is leading to us. I will give you just one example here of 5G, which will enhance the socio-economic satisfaction. 5G will improve transportation, it will be more efficient and safer navigation, autonomous driving will come in. 5G will improve the healthcare, remote medical examination would be possible. It will help in disaster relief, prediction will be much better, robustness of disaster management will be far better. It will enable online education, distance learning, virtual experience, immersive learning through AR and VR and so on. Then you will have a good amount of telecommunication, richer content you will be able to provide in the education. Multi-user you will be able to handle. Teleconferences we are already doing. I'm talking to you sitting in Delhi and we are able to practically see each other and understand what each other is talking. And this will be further enhanced by AR, VR through videos, music and so on. House, home security, consumer electronics, remote control has become the order of the day already, and it is going to improve more and more. Safety and lifeline system, collision avoidance, rescue, distress and accident, all this will become enabled by the 5G experience. 5G will not stand alone. It will be actually fusion of 5G, artificial intelligence and IoT, which play a significant role in all these critical areas. For example, transportation and logistics, which will be AI-driven assistance and traffic management system, self-driving vehicles, deliveries of the unmanned vehicles we are already talking about. It is actually leading to what we call as Industry 4.0, remote inspections, factory automation. Then the healthcare, in the COVID, we saw this healthcare being taken through the online mode, and this is becoming the order of the day today. Remote health monitoring, taking care of the aged people through remote care, remote diagnosis, and medical operations. Public safety and security is also becoming a very intelligent mainstay where intelligent video surveillance and security systems. Today, crime detection has become very easy because of these devices being taken care of. Another area which is emerging today in a big way, I'm not talking of the computation, digitalization, already supercomputers are existing. The change that is going to take place is the quantum computing application. And quantum computing, once it comes, it will have key applications of cybersecurity, drug development, financial modeling, better batteries, cleaner fertilization, and traffic optimization, weather forecasting, and climate change. And they will require different sizes of quantum computing capabilities, starting from 100 qubits to as much as 100,000 qubits. And that's a challenge for us to develop the kind of systems which we'll need. The sustainability actually is redefining the engineering culture away from building things to meeting needs sustainability. The left-hand side gives you the 19th and the 20th century engineer who is sitting and appreciating, oh, I built all this. That is what he is showing. Visible construction, a great public expense to meet society's want. This was the culture. The 21st century engineer is sitting on his computer and talking. I don't need to build anything new. Providing and refurbishing the minimum to meet the society's needs. That is where we have to work in the 21st century. And that's for that the engineer will get transformed. The engineer of my generation, because we come from that generation, we used to consider engineering to develop an object. The sustainable engineer of today will look at system in which the object will be used. Earlier we used to focus on technical issues, but today the new sustainable fellow will say integrates technical and non-technical issues together. The traditional fellow will say solve the immediate problem now. That's what my boss will. You solve your problem today, never bothering about what will happen in the future. But no, the answer is solve the problem forever. Consider the local context, that is the user alone. No, we have to now consider the global context, which is the planet. Assumes others will deal with politics, ethics, and societal issues. I never bothered in those days. We never bothered on how my work will affect the politics. Ethics were used, but within the realm of a local ethics concept. Societal issues were never bothered. If my chemical engineering plant is belching out some poisonous gas, it was least of my concern, but it is no more. Today, the sustainability engineer will say acknowledges the need for engineers to interact with experts in other disciplines related to solving the problem globally in all sense. This is a transformation. Similarly, there is a transformation in manufacturing, which is going to take place for sustainability. What used to happen in the earlier days from 1982 days, we used to do what is called traditional manufacturing by cutting metal, substitution based as we call it. Then we came to lean manufacturing, which is the green line here, where the lean manufacturing was basically to reduce the wastage and waste reduction was. And came green manufacturing, where we were looking at only how we can have green manufacturing in terms of reducing the energy consumption, non-polluting and things like that. That was called 3R based system. Then came now the sustainability demands for circular economy, what is called 6R based system with innovation. And those 6Rs are listed here: remanufacture, redesign, recover, recycle, reuse, and reduce. So this is a system of doing a part of the circular economy, where you are not going to throw away things just like that, but you are going to reuse, redesign, recycle, recover, and remanufacture. So that is a change as far as the manufacturing is concerned. What will be the impact of all these technologies on the economic side? The type of technologies which have happened, they will have tremendous economic impact. For example, the mobile internet, the two figures are given here. It's a minimum, there's an optimization with minimum and maximum. Will impact almost 3.7 to 10.8 trillion dollar. Automation will be 5.2 to 6.7. So like that, automation, cloud technology, advanced robotics, next generation genomics, 3D printing, advanced materials, advanced oil and gas exploratory recovery. Each one has got trillions of dollars of impact, both from low to high, and many other applications are there. So it is predicted that the technologies what we are doing, certainly will have a tremendous impact as far as the economy is concerned. Now, what are those 25 technologies which are really going to make difference? This is a slide. Many of you know most of them, but just to avoid repetition, I can only say that some of those things are already under your R&D activity. For example, artificial intelligence, cloud and edge computing, digital twins, you are already doing. Machine co-creativity and augmented design, not many people are doing. I think this will be important. Drones and unmanned vehicles are the order of the day. Mass personalization and micro movements, nanotechnology and material science, big data and augmented analytics, natural language processing going on today in a big way. Cyber security is picking up a major thing because digitalization requires security. And manufacturing methods, depending upon 3D, 4D printing, and additive manufacturing, will certainly be the order of the day in the years to come. Now, for all these technologies are not going to make economic impact unless we are in a position to do innovation. And for innovation, it is important that you should add value. And that's what our Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji said during the Indian Science Congress 2015. It's almost 7 years now. Our long-term global competitiveness will depend not only on replicating what others have done, but it will emerge through a process of sustained development and innovation. And that is what we are looking at. For that, we have to catalyze innovations for national priorities. There's no point in doing innovations which are not immediately required. What we need is innovate in the national priorities. And these are the national priorities which we have identified. Alternative energy, design and make in India, defense and aerospace sector, improving lives with IT-enabled health, support electric vehicles, methanol economy to biofuels to advanced gasification and combustion cycle, address grand challenges of 21st century. What are the grand challenges? IoT, smart cities, smart additive and digital manufacturing, smart anti-cancer therapeutics that deliver drugs only to tumor cells, high-speed railways, cyber-secured India and digital world, and educational software and a personal tutor. These are some of the areas which require immediate priority as far as they are given immediate priority as far as innovation is concerned. For innovation, I think many people think that innovation will happen just like that. No. I think one of the major artifacts or the quality among the people who are innovative is the process of design thinking as a strategy for innovation. Because design thinking makes it available for people, it leads to invention, best idea, and adds value. So creativity techniques have to be used for this particular application. Now, what is design thinking? It has 8 stages. First is discovery, that where you choose and affirm strategic topic, gather data, understand and emphasize with unmet needs. Then reframe, opportunity, looks for patterns, insights, question assumptions, frame your point of view, define your scope. Then you do incubation, switch gears, feed your brain with diverse stimuli, mediate, sleep on it. Then comes ideate and illuminate, experiment, explore possibilities. For example, when I was doing methanol economy, the idea from reading a book, then I started looking at, which was written by Professor Ola. Then I started looking at why I can't do it. Why cannot India do it? Why can't? So, that whole idea came. And then we started doing experiment like that, what we are talking today. Similarly, you go for refining the idea. We are refining now. We have done coal gasification. We are also seeing how can we do in the automobile. So a lot of ideas are. Then rapid prototype and testing. I give you an example. We are able to now do coal gasification to make methanol and things like that. So this is a rapid prototype testing. Then of course deliver and then iterate and scale again. You can go back. This is a design thinking process where you have to work through a cycle, and that has to become part of your complete innovation process. So through this innovation and the focus which has been given by our Honorable Prime Minister today, Startup India is scaling new heights. 50,000 startups recognized so far. And this has happened just in 6 to 7 years. Today, we have recognized startups spread across 623 districts. We have 5,49,842 jobs reported by 48,093 startups. About 1.7 lakh jobs created by recognized startups in 2021. 45% of the startups of India have a woman, and funding opportunity and a fund of funds scheme with a corpus of more than 10,000 crores, which has happened. Even the pandemic, which was there, it has a positive impact. The pandemic has created new opportunities for startups that can adapt the current environment. In July, Indian startup witnessed 1484, that last year, jump in investment since March. Indian startups backed a total of 5.6 billion investment from 82 companies in July. Similarly, in other sectors also, you found that there was tremendous change as far. And there are a large number of startups that have emerged as the key drivers of economic growth and job creation and are often a catalyst for radical innovation. To conclude, the economies are uncertain for growth. Widespread unemployment looms over us for the upcoming quarters, but not for the sectors and industries what I have stated above. These would continue to shine even in the cloudiest of weather. What are those? EdTech, health, financial services, software as a service, remote working tools, e-commerce, OTT platforms, online gaming, pharma, life sciences. They will continue to grow. So where is your priority? You have to work in these areas to make the right decisions. Then I was talking about impact of innovation and the digitalization and information technology on the manufacturing. The fourth industrial revolution has taken place. I'm just giving this slide, gives you how the industrial revolution took place right from the early days, first, second, third, fourth. Many of you know this. Basically, it started with steam engines, quantitative production. Then 18th century, that was where mass production, material society, popularization, offline market. That was first and second revolution. Third revolution was the industrial revolution, where we went for hyper-connected internet society, middle management revolution, online. This was with power, quality production market. And now in the fourth revolution, which is AI individualization, office-to-office economy, we have hyper-connected intelligence society, professional evolution, O2O convergence. This is what the fourth industrial revolution, with a focus on global GDP. That is what your focus is there. That's why this line of GDP is increasing as far as the industrial fourth revolution is concerned. Fourth revolution has all the elements which IoT and others have derived, the technology is derived. This slide gives you those technologies. For example, there's a group of technologies like robotics, artificial intelligence, collaborative machines, IoT, mobile computing, big data, additive manufacturing, industrial biology, nanotechnology, and so on. All of them come into industrial revolution. Then to support them, we have collaborative machines like the cooperative robots and things like that. And then, of course, different kinds of stakeholders. But the other technologies which are coming into it are, for example, all the 5G and blockchain for intercommunication, for software and things like that, and virtual reality and AR, which are becoming part of this for immersive experience of this, and an open ecosystem, which is bringing more and more collaboration between man and machine, and also man to man and machine to machine. So this is the exponential technologies which are making tremendous as far as Industry 4.0 is concerned. And 4.0 industry is not just sitting without affecting the society. It is actually going to change the society. We had society 1.0, which was hunter-gatherer society. 2.0, as I mentioned in the earlier slide, agrarian society. 3.0 was industrial, 4 is information society, and society 5.0 is the smart society. What is 5.0? It's a society which works on problem solving and value creation, where value is created. We are more focused on value creation. You must have noticed in the last 8 years of our Honorable Prime Minister's leadership, today the R&D has become more and more translational, which was a call he as a Prime Minister. And that has happened. As a result, we have startups, what I mentioned to you. We have our national laboratories like your CSIR laboratories, like the DST laboratories, like the Department of Space or Atomic Energy or Defense. Each one is today focused on R&D and translation. Translation means we are adding value to that. So that is becoming part of the Society 5.0. Second one is diversity. A society where anyone can exercise diverse ability. And you are seeing that. People with disabilities, people who are challenged, even they are able to make a lot of difference in all segments, whether it's sports or engineering or software or whatever that. Decentralization, a society anyone can get opportunities anytime, anywhere. This is another thing, what we call as inclusive growth, and that is becoming part of that. Resilience, a society where people can live and pursue challenges and security. We saw the resilience of Indian society during the COVID. Such a disaster has struck the whole global community. But India came out with flying colors, with a kind of management we could manage. So, as a society which is robust to take the challenges of different kinds, it could be internal or external. Sustainability and environment and harmony. This is the most important part of the 5.0. A society where mankind lives in harmony with nature. And that is where we have to work more as a scientists, technologists, and engineers, because we have to bring in technologies which will make us work, mimic the nature as much as possible. That's why this technology is bringing, mimicking the human body, mimicking the nature in each and everything that is happening. So that is what is the core. All this will not happen unless we transform the education. And education as an important driver to enhance value. For example, family and values and society, they are connected. Family gives values and society gives values. And values are very important. And values get into education, and they get, through education, your value system also get improved. So you get improved values. And once you get improved value, we get enlightened human beings, enlightened individuals, we get enlightened society, we get ethical groups and organizations, and we get sensitive individuals. Once these are there, they are able to work for social cohesion, harmony and peace, nation building, quality of life, character formation, and ideal humanity. So you can see how the value system in the mankind gets transformed, and it transforms the individual, and that individual as a group transforms the society, which is in a position to do what we just saw in the Society 5.0. So what is the requirement of Education 4.0 to meet the demand of the Industry 4.0? Education system has evolved like anything else. For example, Education 1.0 focused on lectures and memorization. Education 2.0 concentrated on producing more advanced workers with higher ability to read and write. 3.0 was a phase where computers became a tool for industry, and the focus was on generation of knowledge. But Education 4.0, the internet changed the paradigm for industry and focus is on innovation. And now this part has been covered in our NEP 2020, the National Education Policy 2020, has by and large taken into account that all the ills of rote learning, all the ills of doing examinations by just pouring out your memory, whatever is there, and then forgetting things. More and more creativity and innovation has been the buzzword as far as NEP 2020 is concerned. Unfortunately, till very recently, our country, we were still teaching our students according to Education 2.0, and there is strong requirement for transforming to 4.0. And I hope that social pain means the education is inadequate to take advantage or the work for the industrial revolution. The moment you see that the education curve has gone above the industrial curve, you find prosperity, because it is education that actually leads to better and better industry. And that's why you are seeing the block of digital revolution. And as you go up, if the education stays almost at the plateau level, and the technology or the industry requires much more, then your social pain will continue to. So that it is important that the education curve also has to continuously go. That's why it has been shown dotted. This is where it has to lead as far as India is concerned, to make sure that we are in a position to actually keep pace with what the industry or the society demands. Higher education, future is here. We need higher quality institutions with research and innovation as the prime focus. critical role in addressing intellectual imperatives. We need career-focused institutions which are offering professional courses with a focus on producing industry and ready graduates. We need critical role, they can play critical role in addressing economic imperatives. Then we need foundation institutions offering courses aimed at providing holistic education and imparting skills that are relevant to the local industry and community. These are some of the 4.0 framework which the World Economic Forum has there. I won't spend much time on this, but the point is global citizenship skills, innovation and creativity skills, technology skills, interpersonal skills, personalized and self-paced learning, accessible and inclusive learning, problem-based collaborative learning, lifelong student-based learning. These are some of the facets which have been identified as content by the World Economic Forum to be part of the Education 4.0. And that gives you the kind of experiences which will happen if you follow these methods. So one side you have content, on the other side the experiences you will have. So this is what has been grasped in our NEP 2020 to a large extent. But of course, the pedagogy will have to be put in the similar form to ensure that all these effects are taken care of. The focus of the university should be on Education 4.0, which will provide the following skill sets to students: knowledge of the degree discipline, practical and psychomotor skills, interpersonal skills and social responsibility, ethics and professionalism, communication skills, analytical and critical thinking skills, lifelong learning and information management, and management skills and entrepreneurial characteristics. This is what universities have to focus. So for ESD, the Sustainable Development Goals, you know today we have SDG, 17 goals are there. Education for sustainable development and critical thinking involves a few domains. Actually, the domain are cognitive domain, the socio-economic domain, and the behavioral domain. So ESD, of course, all of you know, education for sustainable development, for which the cognitive domain have to be effective if you develop the following competencies: system thinking, you should have anticipatory capability, normative way of working, and critical thinking. These are the competencies which are needed for as far as the cognitive domain is concerned. In the socio-economic domain, you need competencies that you should be able to collaborate, and you should have a great sense of self-awareness. What are your capabilities? How you will enhance your capabilities? How you will use them for collaboration? So these are important competencies which are required for socio-emotional domain. Then behavioral domain is very important, which is strategic capability and integrated problem-solving capability. That is what is important for the education for sustainable development. For this, there is actually a major initiative taken by what is called handprint actions towards sustainability. It is vital that we instigate change in order to improve living standards of all and reduce the impact on planet. As I mentioned to you, choices that we make now will shape our opportunities in future and those of future generations. Education is a key driver to achieve this transformation. Education for sustainable development encourages a shift from viewing education as a delivery mechanism to a lifelong, holistic, and inclusive learning process. That is a change. Handprint is a measure of ESG actions. Action that is directed to decrease the human footprint and make the world more sustainable. The handprint analyzes positive impact on the three aspects of sustainability, which I have told to you: environment, society, and economy. While the footprint is the negative effect you leave on the globe, handprint is your positive effort towards sustainability. And hence, friends, increase your handprint and decrease your footprint. So the new economy for the sustainable development has got some of these features which are important. Low carbon economy should be there as against the fossil fuel-based economy which we have been practicing so far. Local supply chain should be promoted rather than global supply chain, which I've been doing earlier. Services should be supported versus products. I have a difference of opinion in this. I personally believe services and products both have to support it, but this is what the economists feel. Dematerialization versus physical goods, processes, or travel using virtual alternatives like video conferencing or online shopping. Responsible consumption versus, and that is threat, overconsumption. no growth model versus grow or die model. New ownership models, that means employees, customers, cooperatives, social venture, funds, government funding, all should be involved. New company purposes for benefit of big companies, social enterprise, fourth sector. So these are some of the new economic models which are being promoted as far as the sustainability is concerned. And that's why now transition is from balanced growth to sustainable growth to inclusive growth. And that means you are not going to worry only about profit. You are also going to work about benefits of the growth to widely distributed people, a rising median per capita income for everybody, progress in reducing poverty, improving opportunities for all groups. That is what is the inclusive growth and sustainable growth. So both of them have to come. And unless these all both of them are put together, we will be in difficulty and we won't achieve what is the sustainable economic growth what we are talking about. We need a shift. The standard paradigm no longer serves us. So we need to shift. What is the shift we are talking about? From GDP, global domestic product as we call it, as a compass of progress to improving societal well-being, what we have to look at. And what should it consist of? We should reduce inequalities despite growth. We should have the lion's share of growth concentrated at the top. These are some of the problems. They should not be like this. From growth or redistribution to inclusive growth, as I mentioned to you. Inequality likely to affect growth, so we should avoid the inequality. From income to multi-dimensional living standard, we are also saying income should increase. No. What we are talking today, material living standards, income, jobs, and quality of life. No. We have to go for multi-dimensional living standard for household across different points of distribution. Inclusive growth targets strong growth and tangible improvements for people's quality of life, both in terms of higher income and better living standard. You may have higher income, but if your living standard is not okay, then you are not meeting the multi-dimensional living standard requirement. How do we achieve this? Our Honorable Prime Minister has been talking about 5 trillion economy by such and such time. Some date is there. So there are various methods of doing it. One is a fierce catch-up. We should take, what should we do? Fierce catch-up is using traditional approaches or technologies to surmount challenges at an accelerated pace. This is called. That doesn't work. That is to 5 trillion. So you should take a significant leap, which is one possibility. Adopting new or different approaches and technologies that may have been developed elsewhere, but that would also work in India. Take something from outside. Leapfrog. Skip a generation or create an entirely new method of business, model, or technology. That is what the leapfrogging will do. Through leapfrogging, then this is what will happen. 2014, you are 1.9 trillion GDP. Fierce catch up, you will come to the red top up. And if you take significant leap, you may reach about 10.4 trillion. And you do a leapfrog, you can reach about 10.4 trillion. Significant leap will be much lower than that. So you need 60% unblocking and executing existing methods and 40% new solutions. That is only possible if we really want to achieve by 2034 $10.4 trillion GDP. For this, you need inclusive leaders who will drive the organizational growth in the 21st century. And what are those leaders? The biggest challenge they have to face is create growth. To have growth, you need to differentiate. And to differentiate, you need to innovate. And to innovate, you need diversity. And to activate the diversity, you need inclusion. And to manage all this, you need inclusive leadership. So you have to have a person or a group of persons or set of people who will be driving this organizational growth through these qualities of what I mentioned. The growth, create growth, that is the challenge we have to follow. And all this, these are the qualities which have to be imbibed. So the key message is the world needs a rapid global transformation to a new development paradigm of human prosperity within the safe operating space on the earth. This new Anthropocene logic places sustainability at the forefront of the challenge, global revolutions on food and energy, new approaches to urban development, transport, circular economic development, global governance. Science and technology can and must play a key role in delivering integrated system solution for world prosperity within Earth's SOS. Planetary challenge requires global network of scientific collaboration. This is what we need, and this is how we can achieve as far as sustainability. Thank you very much, and wish you all the very best on this Technology Day. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, generally, we do not take question, but if you permit some senior colleague, if they
No, senior, junior, student, anybody can ask questions. I have time, no problem.
Kindly raise your hand, and otherwise we can combine all the questions, and then we can get.
So anyone would like to ask a question? Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for sharing your deep insights into such a clear vision that you have for the future. So you have taken us through a very interesting journey where you discussed the importance of sustainable development and the major technology transformations that are required. And you also explained to us the benefits of 5G, its fusion with AI and IoT, and quantum computing and design thinking. I think some very novel terms which I'm sure would have enlightened many of our colleagues. And I hope we'll look into these things in future with the aim of moving towards a greater development for the future. And I'll hear the great success story of the startup India that you have very nicely elaborated. And you brought in some very interesting points like the society 5.0 and its characteristics to become inclusive and resilient, the education 4.0 framework, and the 17 SDGs. I think that was very important for all of us. And the new economy, how it should be. You have concluded very beautifully by highlighting the economic development strategy for India and how inclusive leadership can achieve this in the 21st century. So all in all, I think it was a very exciting and a great learning experience for all of us here today, sir. I would like to thank you very much on behalf of our director and all the staff members and our senior colleagues, retired colleagues, and our research council members for agreeing to come for this Technology Day lecture and delivering such a very relevant and timely topic that you have shared with all of us. I'm sure for most of the young people, it would be a very inspiring lecture that would make us look towards a brighter future. So once again, sir, thank you very much for agreeing to deliver this very beautiful lecture. And we are really thankful and enlightened to listen to you.
Thank you for listening to me. Thank you. Namaskar.
I'm also thankful to Director NGRI, very supportive, organizing this. Devinder of the Information Division and all the staff members who have helped in organizing this. My sincere thanks to all the senior colleagues, retired colleagues, and the Research Council members who have come to listen to you today. And it has been a very successful talk. I think a large number of people have come online to listen to this talk. And I'm really very happy, although we could not assemble all together. And we do hope, sir, in future, we will have an opportunity to have you physically with us and have a more personal interaction in future.
Yes, it will happen. I'll come.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, namaskar. May I take leave?
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.